Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada, situated along the Pacific Ocean. I hope that everybody is having a great weekend so far, and we've got a delicious topic for you in this class. We are looking at IELTS speaking part 3. Specifically, we are looking at questions about cooking and sweets. And you could have an IELTS exam where your part 2 is talk about some kind of food, and then part 3 is about cooking and cakes and sweets. So a nice sweet topic for the weekend. Welcome, Amrit. Hi, Zohid in Uzbekistan, Chayan Kip, Prasanna. Nice to see many of you here with me in the class. This lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com. That's academicenglishhelp.com. Join us at aehelp.com for academic IELTS materials and at gieltshelp.com for general IELTS materials. These websites look like this. This is aehelp.com here. We will use this website today for speaking. So for our regular students, make sure to open up the website. For new students, you can join the premium version of this website with the big red button that's just above my head. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, doesn't cost a lot, and you can use the speaking interface, the writing services, and of course get access to all of the exams, interactive courses, the app for the phone. For the general IELTS, make sure to register here. It's gieltshelp.com. Again, click that big red button for the premium package. When you do that, make sure to use the discount code IDEA25. That will get you a 25% discount off of the premium IELTS package. And again, we will use this website in a few moments to answer speaking part 3 questions. You can download the apps from your app store, Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. You can follow us on Instagram. Definitely subscribe to our channel, everyone. So subscribers, you get notifications. Hit the bell button so that you get notifications on your phone for the live classes. We are world leaders when it comes to helping students get ready for their IELTS exam. So many students in the class now. Hello, everyone. Diksha, I am doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. Eugen, thank you for those emojis. Always making sure to put a smile on everybody's face on the weekend here. For emails, questions, this is my address. Send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. I will definitely get back to you in short notice. We've got a little bit of a break coming up after today, so we've got no class on the 10th and 11th and 12th. But we will have a Light Hall class on Light Hall. Light Hall is an awesome platform for live teaching. We can do video chat. So register free. It's a free class on Light Hall. And we will have a full speaking class on Light Hall part 1, 2, and 3 starting on the 13th. Okay, so that'll be on the, I'll copy that in one more time. That's on the 13th. That's on a Wednesday. So check that out. It's in the chat. And then we have more Light Hall classes, one on the 24th, 31st as well. You can register for those. And we will have more live classes next week, 14th, 15th, 16th on YouTube. For all of you practicing speaking, definitely check out our latest HD speaking video on the channel. It's got a ton of great strategies to get you to that high band 8, band 9. I've put the link in the chat for that as well. So that's a full speaking interview sponsored by Cambly. Cambly's got a little bit of an exciting extra little gift for you in that for students in India. So check that out. So Jita, that's awesome. Thank you for being a fan. That's so kind of you. I like hearing positive reviews all the time. Again, we always tell students this, and it's our motto, your success is our success. And with that in mind, let's take a look at IELTS speaking part 3. So what is IELTS speaking section? It's a 12 to 15 minute interview. It's done separate from the writing, listening, reading section. You go in, you register 20 minutes before your speaking interview. You have to show your ID. You have to use English, okay? Speak English, but don't go to your IELTS speaking section 20 minutes before your interview. Go 1 hour before your speaking interview and speak in English only. It's so important. If you want to get a high score on an English oral exam, talk in English, right? That's going to be your first step. So in this class, we're going to do lots of English, lots of speaking in English. So make sure to speak and repeat. Copy what I say, copy how I say it. I speak with a West Coast North American accent. It's common for people in and around this area, British Columbia, Alaska, Alberta, kind of the same. Washington, Oregon, California, they all speak with a very similar accent to my own. And city-wise, Vancouver, San Francisco, Los Angeles. So Jita, if you have a question, ask me. If I don't see it, send it to me by email. All right. Students, speaking part 3, it's the last part of the speaking section, and it's the part that kind of decides whether you get a band 7, 8, or 9. So they're really looking for those pieces of language, coherence, grammar that show the examiner that, okay, this isn't just the person who is fluent in English, but it's a person who is an expert user of the English language. And the only way to get higher than a 7.5 is with good communication, okay? There are a lot of videos online and a lot of teachers online that don't really show you this. I want to be very honest with you here. They show you English, but they don't show you good communication, okay? And I really want you to know this, all right? So to get band score 7.5 and more in IELTS speaking, you need to be fluent and have great communication. Okay? Just speaking English is not enough, or speaking like a native speaker is not enough. Just because somebody is a native speaker doesn't mean they're a band 8 or a band 9, okay? Band 8, band 9 descriptions don't say sound like a native speaker, okay? Nowhere on the IELTS does it say you need to sound like a native speaker. You don't need to sound like a native speaker, and just sounding like a native speaker does not get you a band 8 or a band 9. So to get band scores 7.5 and more in the IELTS speaking, you need to be fluent and have great communication. So what does that mean? What is great communication? Okay. What do you think? What does that mean, everybody? So if I ask you this question, and here's a good first question to start off your English, and answer this in English, of course. What is great communication? What is considered great communication? Okay. Silent Love, Hikmatillo, Sajida. What is great communication? Sajida, I have not been to Uzbekistan yet, but one day I will surely visit there, especially when the situation calms down around Europe and that area, which is hopefully sooner than later. All right. Prabhu, welcome to our members, by the way. That's nice. Amrit, nice of you to rejoin. Baljit says to be clear and specific and quantitative and accurate. Diksha, the way you deliver your thoughts, what does that mean? Amrit says, give more details. Kritika says, great communication means to communicate in a friendly way. I don't think that means necessarily it's great communication. Justin says it means it is speaking confidently with good communication skills. Yeah, it's okay. I don't really see a good answer yet for it. Mittal says, I want to join your class. How do I join? I'll show you that in a bit for joining the live speaking. White Dove says, have rich vocabulary and use them in a correct way. Chayan Kip says, make sense. I like that answer so far. Okay, to make sense, what does that mean? Yeah, make sense. That's probably the best phrase I've read so far. To make sense for the listener. Great communication. Communication means at least two people, right? I mean, there's self-communication, but we're not dealing with that today. Here it's between two people. It's you, it's the examiner, it's two people, and we're in a nexus. We're in an interaction, and you need to make sense. So it means to make sense to the listener. And Deep has a really nice answer. Now, Deep says it means accurate ideas related to the topic. Yeah, great communication means accurate ideas to answer the question, which are related to the topic and structured with vocabulary so that the listener has a clear picture of the information. Okay? That's what it is. All right? So great communication means ideas that are accurate for the question, they are related to the topic, they're structured so they're easy to understand, they use vocabulary that's clear for the listener, and they make a picture in the listener's mind. Okay? That's because humans are visual. Our eyeballs, our cameras of the world, they are the number one way that we understand the world. Okay? So if I tell you I went to a big house on the weekend, you're probably going to be like, ah. Okay? So let's say I tell you, oh, what? You say, Adrian, what did you do on the weekend? And say, I went to a big house to an awesome party. And you're like, okay, sweet. What does that mean? Right? So if I say, I went to a large house with 6 bedrooms, a swimming pool, around 500 or 600, let's say 500 square meters, to a big party with 200 guests. Now you're like, oh, okay, that's the size of that house and that party. I see. Okay. Here, do you have a picture in your head of what I'm talking about? Not really. Maybe we have a picture, but we're going to have many different pictures. So if I ask Utkarsh what kind of picture they have in their head, they're going to have one kind of picture. Rola, Socher will have another type of picture. Pravasha Singh, our member, will have another picture. And everybody will have their own picture of that big house and that big party. Some of you will have a 2-bedroom house and 30 people, and some of you will have a 20-bedroom mansion with 1,000 people. So we don't yet have clear communication. This first one is like as if I'm talking to myself. Okay? Right? The second one, this one, is like I'm talking to another person. that doesn't know me, that doesn't have my eyeballs, right? Okay. All right. Julia, if you don't know what to speak, the topic is unknown, you're in trouble. All right. You have to first try to understand what's going on. If you really don't know, you have to ask for the next question. You can't answer a question that you don't understand. It doesn't work that way, right? Okay. Baljit says, yep, got it. The listener has to be able to visualize easily what's going on. Okay. All right. So keep in mind, you're talking to another person. You're not talking to yourself, right? In the IELTS, you're talking to another person, and it's especially tricky because it's a person who doesn't know you. Keep that in mind. So in the IELTS, clarity is especially important because you are talking to a stranger that does not know you or the way you think. Okay? That's why it's very different than if you're talking to your friend or your sibling, brother, sister, parents, because the more a person knows you, the less clarity you need. I mean, I don't recommend it. You should still speak clearly to everybody around you, but people who know you, they understand you easier or easily because they know you, so they know how you think. But a person who doesn't know how you think, you have to be extremely clear. Okay? All right. So having said that, today's topic is talking about food and talking about sweets and cakes. Okay? Let's practice a little bit. And as we practice, you are going to get more clarity and you will understand better. Now, follow the structure of answer, explanation, and example. So the way that we create clarity is by giving an answer, giving a reason for our answer, and then giving a smooth, simple example to our explanation without saying for example. So a good example, you don't need to say for example. Okay? With a good example, you do not need to say for example. Just say it. Okay? Just say it. Instead of Nike, Nike's like, just do it, Nike, right? My motto is going to be just say it. Just say it, Adrian. All right. Yeah, Cambridge IELTS books are helpful, absolutely. As a question by Prakash Punj. All right, so let's do this. So we're in IELTS speaking part 3, and the examiner says, let's talk about making food. Okay, now right away in your head, you're thinking, okay, making food, cooking, baking, frying, preparing food, chopping, dicing, cutting, grinding. All of these verbs and ideas and pictures are coming into your mind. Now, part 3 will be more challenging questions. The examiner is not going to ask you, do you make food? Okay, that would be a part 1 question. So if it's part 3, it's going to be a bit more challenging. And they might ask you a question like this: how have food preparation practices improved over the decades? All right, first of all, I noticed that have improved. We've got present perfect here. So I have to answer in present perfect, okay? All right. And I'm visualizing here, right? So I'm keeping in mind my kitchen, my behaviors, the way I prepare food, or the way my mom or my dad or the chefs prepare food. There are so many cooking shows on television. and on the internet as well. So people are always YouTubing cooking and looking at cooking shows, right? So all of that information comes flooding into my mind as I'm thinking about how to answer this question, okay? All right, there's my smooth example, okay? So here is my full answer, and I encourage you to answer as well. I'm going to read your answers also and give you feedback, okay? So here's the original question. How have food preparation practices improved over the decades? Making food has improved quite a bit over the past 10 to 20 years with better recipes and technology. Since the world's best chefs and recipes can be viewed online, and ovens and KitchenAids have improved so much, foods taste so good these days. I watched a video on making a chocolate cake just yesterday, and my family loved my baking. You should repeat that, okay? So repeat that if you have the chance. All right. All right. Prakash Punj says there are 5 reasons to use present perfect. You said that in the last class. Can you please repeat that? Yes, absolutely. So present perfect is used to indicate change over time, repetition over time, achievement, emphasize experience, and emphasize expectation. Okay, that's why we use present perfect in the English language, for those reasons, or their opposites, like no change over time, no repetition. Yeah, that's a whole different class. It's a class in grammar. If you want to learn about these kinds of grammar ideas, you can learn those on our website. We are world leaders when it comes to teaching English. We have a team of psychologists and educators who are designing cutting-edge materials for learners. We don't just copy other people. In fact, other people like to copy us. You'll notice that if you've been watching enough videos online. All right. So this is the answer here. We've got the answer, explanation, and example. Let's take a look at what some of our viewers are saying. Here we go. And again, we'll be practicing live here with volunteers shortly. So do get in there. Do give your answers. Roman Champagain says, food preparation techniques over the decades have changed quite significantly as people are becoming more health conscious, using healthy ingredients, better cooking styles, and use of modern technology. Roman, that is good. Roman, I would love to see an example there. You know, the one that comes to mind for me is I bought an awesome blender just last month, and I have been making healthy smoothies. If you don't know the word smoothies, you can say juice mixes or even just juice. Ever since, okay? So that smooth example gives you that visual quality where now the listener's like, here's a guy with a making the smoothies, throwing in, your eggs, your carrots, your bananas, your green leaf lettuce. Why not get some avocado in there? Mix it all up. Yummy and healthy. Yummy part, maybe not so much, but healthy definitely, right? I do that. I make smoothies and I love them. They're great for, especially when I'm working out, right? So keep that in mind. Yeah, those are visual. Those are real life, right? That's a good answer there, Ramon. Just make sure to include that smooth example and you'll get that extra 1 band for your IELTS speaking section, okay? All right, let's see what Kamal has here. Kamal Kumar says this. There's lots of ways to answer these questions. There's no one way. You should not try to memorize answers for the IELTS. That's just silly. Okay, memorized answers will not get you a good band score. You have to practice your speaking. You have to build your language in your sentences. And you have to be original. And you can do it with practice, everyone. You definitely can, okay? So Kamal says, definitely making food has changed in the last 10 years. Like in the past, people's juice clay made gas, but in these days, people use electronic appliances like electric gas grinder. I'm a bit confused, Kamal, of what you're talking about. I don't know what a gas grinder is, okay? And I don't know what juice clay is, so you definitely want to make sure that you use accurate words that your listener understands. All right? Okay. Baljit, good to have you in both classes today. I hope your weekend is going well. This is what Baljit says to this question. Let's see. Baljit. Okay. It says, yes, making food has improved significantly in the past. Okay, has improved significantly. In the past, people used to cook food on just furnaces, but nowadays they have really advanced stoves that are not only efficient, but time-saving. Good. Okay, very nice. And then Baljit says, a couple of days back, I see it, Baljit, I see the rest of it. A couple of days back, I bought an oven and it's really time-saving. I make my breakfast fast in just 2 minutes. That is a fast oven, Baljit, just 2 minutes. It doesn't have to be the truth. Okay, the IELTS examiner is not going to be like, I don't believe you. How can you make breakfast in 2 minutes? I believe you. Sure, it's an awesome oven and you have some kind of a breakfast that you can make in 2 minutes. Maybe scrambled eggs that are very raw. But yeah, it works. Okay, Baljit, that works. So, new technology. Now, then you have a follow-up question. So in part 3, it's like a conversation. And the IELTS examiner will ask you a question that is usually connected in some way to the previous question, okay, or often connected. So the first question here is, how have food preparation practices improved over the decades? Okay, we answered that question. Making food has improved quite a bit over the past 10 to 20 years with better recipes and technology. Since the world's best chefs and recipes can be viewed online, and ovens and KitchenAids have improved so much, foods taste so good these days. I watched a video on making a chocolate cake just yesterday and my family loved my baking. Okay, so now the examiner says, do you feel any of these changes have actually been for the worst? Now, you might need a moment to think about that. So you might be like, I don't know, right? Don't say, I don't know. Say, well, let me think for a moment. Okay. All right. Yes. I guess there can be some ways that it is worse, especially if I think of frozen foods. There are so many frozen dishes that are easy to make and quick, but of course these are not as healthy as fresh foods, like the frozen pizza I had yesterday. Okay. Okay, so there's my follow-up. Usually there is a yes answer, and if you can find that yes answer, then you are on the right track. So do you feel that any of these changes have actually been for the worse? Well, let me think for a moment. I guess there can be some ways that it is worse, especially if I think of frozen foods. There's so many frozen dishes these days that are easy to make and quick, but of course, these are not as healthy as fresh foods, like the frozen pizza I had yesterday. Okay, now here I'm missing my present perfect, which is not good. So better to say there have been some ways that it has become worse, especially if I think about frozen foods. Present perfect, answer present perfect. Always fix that mistake if you catch it. Okay? All right. So, Cycle Stunt Vlogs says, let's see. I think there are some changes that have actually been for the worse. Good use of the question, Cycle Stunt Vlogs. Nowadays, people use more unhealthy ingredients in preparation of the food just to make the food delicious. For instance, I don't see where you're going with that, Cycle. Do you have the rest of that, Cycle Stunt Vlogs? I think your example is coming up, and that's good. I'd like to see it. Okay, but you've got a good start. Okay. All right. Baljit says, this pizza made me bloated. Yeah, you don't need to say bloated stomach, Baljit, just bloated. Okay. All right, everyone. Looking good. Looking good. Karina says, of course, everything has pros and cons, same as the change, like using microwave ovens leading to cancer. All right. A few weeks ago, my friend got cancer due to this. Karina, a little bit of a weird answer, I'll be honest with you. Not everything has pros and cons, so don't generalize. Be specific. Okay. All right. Let's speak. Let's talk to each other. Let's do this for real. Okay. Great way to build your confidence. Great way to get real feedback from me. Let's talk to each other, not just type, but let's chat. Let's do this. You can volunteer to speak with me. Okay. So I will switch to speaking mode here, and everybody will have a chance to repeat the corrections, of course. And a lot of you will have the chance to volunteer and talk to me and practice these speaking part 3 questions, just like what I did. I will give you a band score estimate. I will tell you what you're doing well, and I will give you tips on how to improve. Okay, so first of all, you need to create an account on our website, because YouTube does not have speaking abilities, and our website speaking is better. It's focused on IELTS. Okay, and then you log into your My Student account. You click on Student Partner Speaking, and you send me a message, Master, and you say, I want to volunteer, and then you can volunteer. Let me show you this, okay? So first, go to the website, aehelp.com. It looks like this, okay? This is aehelp.com. All right. Once you have gone to aehelp.com, you can get the premium package by clicking on that red button, or you can try it for free by clicking on the green button. And then you click on My Student Account. And in your My Student account, you will see lots of goodies: computer-based practice exams, full course, study plans, workbooks for the IELTS, lesson videos. By the way, it's a one-time payment for lifetime access, and it doesn't cost a lot. We use these materials in our live classes all the time, so it's kind of like buying your textbook for your live class. You should buy your textbook for your classes. The textbooks are in the full course. It's worth the purchase because we use it in these live classes. Okay, and then click on Student Partner Speaking, which is right there. Okay. And if you like that, you can book a speaking practice with me. A couple people did that this week, which is great. Student interview practice, that's the yellow one. But right now, a student partner speaking, accept. You have to accept. You'll see that pop up. It'll say accept the terms. And then you get into the speaking interface, and we've got lots of people in here. We've got Not, Harman, Shub, Sarah, Amrit, Kalwinder, Baljit, Zakhijan, Sam, Jintao, Deep, Huang, Dwai, Gwendolyn are all in here. It's fantastic. And we're taking volunteers, and you can see that Sarah is volunteering, Amrit is volunteering, and I can see that because they have these little number ones appearing there. Shub just volunteered, and all you do is just send me a message with the blue envelope. So you'll see master, and then just click on the blue envelope and say, I want to volunteer, and then we can start. Now, we haven't spoken with Amrit in a little bit, so let's start off with Amrit, and then we'll jump around and talk to people, and you'll get a chance to answer a question, and we'll go from there. So Amrit, I see that you're there. Are you ready? Okay. Make sure you enable your microphone, your speaker. Make sure to test it. Make sure you have a good connection, okay? A stable connection, because we're using audio here, especially if you're using YouTube at the same time.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Amrit. How are you?
I'm doing great, sir. What about you?
I'm doing pretty good. You sound a little bit distant. I can hear you, but it sounds like you're a bit far away.
Yes, but I think there is some problem with my microphone.
Okay, no worries. I mean, I can hear you clear enough, especially if I put on my other ear. There we go. All right, Amrit. So you did the IELTS exam just recently, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how come you're still in the class? Why are you still practicing the speaking?
Sir, I want to improve my speaking skill in order to get 7th or maybe above.
Yeah, exactly. You want to get a higher score, right? That's a good question. It was a rhetorical question, by the way, Amrit. I'm always happy to have you here. And yeah, of course, just because you pass IELTS doesn't mean you should stop speaking English, right? That's not a good idea. So,
Yes, sir. And even for the past 15 days, I did not speak with someone, and now my speaking skill is goes down.
right. So you got to keep practicing as much as possible every day. Okay, well, let's do it. Let's do a bit of practice. So I'm going to ask you a question, give me a nice full answer, and then I'll reflect on your answer. Amrit, do you feel, or let's go back to the first one here. So let's continue with part 3. Let's talk about making food. How have food preparation practices improved over the decades?
I think making food has improved quite a bit over the past 10 or 20 years with the good recipes and technology. There are lots of recipes and foods are available on the food market where people can enjoy a good taste. And the technology helped a lot of people to making food with quickly, and they not and even last month I bought a mixture for making fresh juice in order to maintain my health.
Okay. All right. So that answer is pretty good. You're being fluent, so you definitely get at least a 6, and I think it's that's close to a 7, Amrit. Amrit, one advice here for this response: keep your explanation shorter. Okay, so sometimes people ask me like, how much should I talk? Right, 3 clear sentences usually. So answer, explanation, and example. And you can kind of think about these as one sentence for each. Now, it doesn't mean it's one sentence because you can connect them. Maybe it's all just one big sentence. But you don't want to over explain or you don't want to over exemplify, right? So when you're practicing, focus on keeping your explanation clear, right? So with the improvement of recipes and technology, food is healthier and tastes better. Stop. Last month, I bought a blender and now I'm making healthy juices every morning. Stop. Okay?
Okay, sir.
So, Amrit, just repeat after me. I think making food has improved quite a bit over the past 10 to 20 years. With the improvement of recipes and technology, food is healthier and tastier. Last month, I bought a blender and now I'm making healthy juices every morning. Go for it.
I think making food has improved quite a bit over the past 10 or 20 years. Whether the improvement of recipes and technologies has recipes are healthier, and healthiest. And last month I bought a mixture for maintain my good health.
Okay, good. So see, now you're pushing yourself to keep it simple. So you just missed a couple of points there. One was healthier and tastier. Tastier. Okay.
Yes, I forget.
I know that's why I'm just reflecting. So tastier, and it's not a mixture, it's a blender. Blender. Okay. All right. Amrit, my head's going to explode from the microphone and the traffic, so I'm going to let you go, check the microphone, troubleshoot, and come back with a nice clear mic next time, okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you so much
All
for giving me
right.
this
Okay.
feedback.
Bye, Amrit. Keep it up. All right. So thank you for bearing with me. Some of you are maybe like, I'm not watching this anymore. That's just crazy noisy. Where is Amrit? Amrit, you sounded like you're in the middle of a traffic jam, but I appreciate you chiming in. So use the grammar, answer, explain, example, but don't over explain, don't over speak, because if you do that, the examiner will interrupt you. Okay? All right. Sarah, I believe, from France is returning to us today. She was here earlier in the week as well. Sure, Sarah. Are you ready? Okay. And we'll get to some new questions here also. Sarah says yes. Ooh, now it's nice and loud. Hi, Sarah.
Hello,
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you? How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. I've filled myself with coffee, so I'm full of energy, and it's early in the morning here, so I'm ready to go. Any special plans for the weekend, Sarah?
Nothing special, just sitting at home and practicing for my IELTS exam.
That's pretty special, right? No, maybe not. But hey, you know what? Once you're done the IELTS, you can go and have a big celebration with your friends, and you'll get that great score, right?
Exactly.
All right. Okay, and Sarah, just for our viewers, you are in France right now, in Marseille, right?
Yes, like I
Okay.
say.
Marseille, yes. Okay, cool, right on. And what are your goals? Why are you doing the IELTS?
Actually, I have done the IELTS before,
Hmm.
and I just got an overall score at 6. And now I need to retake the IELTS to take an overall score 6.5. I have been accepted in university, and they in London, and they required me to retake the IELTS to take 6.5, so I can be fully accepted to the
Awesome.
university.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I think you can do it. You know, from speaking with you, I think you have the skills necessary, and in fact, I think you should be aiming higher. Like you should be aiming for a 7. Okay. All right. Well, let me help you with this a bit. So good on you for practicing regularly and coming back. So answer some questions here, and I'll give you some feedback. Okay. Let's talk about making food. Some people say that the tradition of quality home-cooked meals is slowly disappearing. Why is this?
Actually, the home cooking food cooking is getting lower because of the new progress of the world. As we can see, females in the last decades are more involved in work areas, which is making them busy all the time, not having time to cook for the family, as well as the development seen in food world, just as the fast food, which is making ordering food more easier for the family, more delicious, and just accepting all the different. Uh,
What can be done to encourage people to bake and cook more?
we can just uh, we can just imp- uh, encourage people to bake and cook by educating them of the importance of cooking at home, and as well in works, like giving them breaks, more breaks to come back to their home, having a fast meal, and try to bring. And as well, just in some schools they can help the students to bring food made in home, like having it a special day during the week, which is gonna encourage students or kids or even housewives to cook more for their kids.
How would it impact society if people cooked more at home?
Actually, if people started cooking more at home, it's gonna be a positive change for the society, because the people are gonna be starting having healthier food, which is gonna decrease the the health problem in the society, like diabetes or other problems. By example, since one of my cousins had diabetes, and when his wife started cooking at home, he could manage the levels of uh, insulin in his blood.
Okay. All right. So first tip, Sarah, slower, more focused, less mistakes with word forms, grammar, okay? And more concise. So those are the main tips, okay? What you're saying right now is going to be a band 6 to a 6.5 according to an examiner. So the examiner would mark this as 6 or a 6.5. If you're lucky, the examiner will give you a 6.5. If you're unlucky, it'll be a 6. So it would be I think if like 10 examiners sat in my chair, half of them would give you a 6, half of them would give you a 6.5. The half that would give you a 6, they would be the ones that are kind of strict on, on grammar. Excuse me. And the other half would be the ones that kind of don't care as much about grammar. But there's another way that you can make sure all of them give you at least a 6.5, and that's by being more focused with your content. Okay, Sarah? Let me show you what I mean, okay? First of all, what's really great is that you're understanding these questions, because these questions are a little bit tricky. Like, they're not your everyday questions. We're talking about home cooking here, right? And the value of home cooking. So it's a bit of a tricky topic. I mean, I can't even imagine trying to talk about this in French, which is horrible to say because I'm Canadian and I should speak French, but I don't. So on the East Coast, people do. My daughter, she goes to French immersion, so she could talk to you in French, but not me. Anyway, So let's look at this question, and I kind of broke it up, and then we'll go through it step by step, okay? So the question is, some people say that the tradition of quality home-cooked meals is slowly disappearing. Why is this? Okay, if you need a moment to think about it, because it's a strange question, just ask for time. Say, okay, it's a good question. Let me think, right? Because that's what I would do in the real world. If you asked me this question, that's literally what I would tell you. I would say, okay, that's a good question. Let me think. And then I would choose my words a bit more carefully. So actually, home cooking, it's not is getting lower, but it's is decreasing, okay? You can't use is getting lower in every context, so kind of forget about that. Use the word decreasing instead. So actually, home cooking is decreasing because of the new progress of the work. Again, a little bit strange, because of the new social structure. It's a bit of a complex one. Try to stay away from complex ideas, okay? Keep them a bit simpler, because of so many women working these days. Okay, so I would just simplify that. And then you said, as we can see, females are working. And again, females are working. It's a bit weird actually for humans to call ourselves females and males unless we're doing like a scientific research study. So let's call each other men and women. So because so many women are working these days. And then you said, as well as the development in the world, such as fast food, which is making ordering food for the family easier. And then you started to explain even more, like accepting something, and it's starting to get really jumbled there and kind of awkward, and that's where you're losing a lot of your marks. Just like with Amrit, that sentence was clear. Stop it right there, and then instead of explaining more and more, give an example. So give me an example of ordering food.
Like I can say the last week when I was having dinner with my family, each one of us decided to order its favorite plate
Sarah,
instead of cooking it.
way too complicated. Okay, so your example is good. The idea is good, but simplify that. So last week, my family ordered, what's your favorite pizza? Yeah, Sarah, what's your favorite pizza?
It's margherita. I don't know how to say this in English, so
Margarita pizza? Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, you can say
Okay.
that. Yeah, it's the one with mozzarella and I think spinach and tomato, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So last week, my family ordered a large margarita pizza instead of making a healthy spaghetti. Something like that. Can never spell spaghetti. Okay, so that's a simple example. Okay, so simple example. All right. And then we keep going that way. So what can be done to encourage people to bake and cook more? And then you said we can just encourage people to bake and cook. And that was really smart that you used the question in your answer, and that let you think about your answer more. So that was a really good way. And then you continued very well. So you said we can just encourage people to bake and cook by educating them of the importance of cooking at home. That part of your answer, Sarah, is easily a band 7.5 to 8. So you have the English for that higher band score. You just have to make sure that you maintain that level. So keep that level, okay? And then you said, as well at works. It's not at works, it's just work, okay? We don't count it in that context. So as well at work, to give them, I would say, employees. More breaks so they can cook at home. Okay, and I thought that was really great. And then what happened here again, Sarah, is you just kept talking. You kept explaining, and you kept making more and more grammar mistakes suddenly, and your score went from up here, and it started to just slowly but surely creep down, down, down from a 7.5 to a 7, a 6.5, and then a 6, right? Instead, you want to just simplify, be concise, right? And by the way, everyone watching, I'm not just telling this to Sarah because as everybody can see, this is a common mistake. Amrit made this mistake as well of over speaking. So don't overspeak, simplify, right? So as well at work, to give employees more breaks so that they can cook at home. Quantify it for me. Remember what I said, Sarah, at the beginning, that your listener is not you. And I have no idea how much time people get for lunch in France for work. So what's kind of the average amount of time that people get in France for a break at work to eat their food or make food?
It's like 30 minutes.
Okay.
But it's not like you can go
No, don't
and
explain more.
make
No,
your
no,
food.
no, no.
It's like
I don't want to
30.
know that. I don't want to know that. I just want to know the time. Okay, so don't over-explain, sir. Don't over-explain. Just stick to the minimum. Okay, how much time do you think an employee should have for lunch so that they could go and make themselves something in the office kitchen?
Like 14 minutes.
Oh, come on. You give me the extra 10 minutes to make that sandwich? It's not a lot. Double it up. Make it an hour, right? Now, there I'm not going to judge you, Sarah. So if you say 40 minutes it is, right? I would just say an hour to keep it simple, right? So
Yeah.
give me this explanation again with this number so that I have clarity, so that I can give you that higher band score. So one more time, explain this to me. Keep it simple.
So as well as workplace, to give employees more time, such as an hour, to prepare their food.
Perfect. Okay. Very good. And now give me an example.
The 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 company that I was working with gave us an hour to prepare our food, which made us eating more healthier food during our work time.
Too complex. And you're not talking just about yourself, you're talking about you and all of your colleagues. I want you to give me a simpler example of you preparing food within an hour at your work. Okay, so let's do that one more time.
Which was more enough to prepare a healthy meal in my workplace.
Okay, I missed the first part of that. I think we had a break in our connection, but that was sounded much better. Even just from the, it's funny because I only caught the second half of your example. The first half, I couldn't hear you. There was some kind of a connection mistake. But even just from that second half, it sounded better. Okay, so at my company, each workday, I prepare a healthy sandwich and soup in my 1 hour break. Do you see how? So I want to, give everyone another important point here. Simple is not easy. So Sarah, I understand. I get it, right? Like you're like, well, Adrian, yeah, but you make it sound like it's so easy, but it's not so easy. I'm not saying it's easy. So simple isn't easy. It takes practice. It takes practice. But when you practice it, it'll come. You'll start thinking that way. And when you start thinking that way and doing this, then you'll see that your band score goes up. Okay. So let's just do this question one more time and then repeat the whole answer after me, Sarah. And this is for everybody. So everybody learn these techniques and repeat after me, okay? So I'm going to repeat the question, repeat the answer, and then after I'm done the answer, then copy. So what can be done to encourage people to bake and cook more? We can just encourage people to bake and cook by educating them of the importance of cooking at home. As well at work, to give employees more breaks so they can make their food, like an hour instead of 30 minutes. At my company, each workday, I prepare a healthy sandwich and soup in my 1 hour break. Go ahead, Sarah.
We can just encourage people to bake and cook by educating them of the importance of cooking at home, as well at work, to give employees more breaks so they can cook their food like an hour instead of 30 minutes. At my company, each workday, I prepare a healthy sandwich and soup in my 1 hour break.
Sounds easy, right?
Yes,
All
too
right.
much.
So Less is more, okay? In the IELTS, it's true as well. This is kind of an interesting proverb in English that people often say that less is more. And it's true in the IELTS as well. So you don't want to speak in like one or two words. That's not good. You need to be fluent. But you also don't want to overspeak or over-explain, because the more you speak, the more you explain, the more chances that you're making mistakes, right? So answer, explain, example. So keep practicing that, Sarah, and I promise you that you're going to get a much better band score, okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much, Sarah, for volunteering, and have a lovely rest of your weekend. Bye for now.
Thank you.
All right, that was Sarah in France, and I took a bit of extra time there. So obviously the reason I took a bit of extra time there, everybody, is because you see that's a common mistake. So simple is not easy, and it's a common mistake for students to over-explain, over-talk, make a lot of grammatical mistakes, information mistakes. The ideas become confusing. As soon as the ideas become confusing, the band scores start to plummet, okay? All right, so let's practice this a bit more. Baljeet, long time no see. Baljeet, let's see if you're there. You sure can. Are you ready, Baljeet? I think Baljeet has passed his IELTS exam, but it's fun to have you back, Baljeet. All right, Amrit, thanks for the thumbs up for Sarah, by the way. Support each other, everyone. You got to be really brave to volunteer, right? Hopefully Baljeet is still here. Hopefully you guys hang in there. Again, learn from each other. Learning from peers is a great way to improve. I think a lot of people think the only way they can improve is if they get direct help, but that's not true. Learning from each other's mistakes is a very good way to improve. Okay.
Hello.
Hi Baljeet, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. How about you?
I am doing great. I haven't heard your voice in a long time.
Yes, sir. I was preparing for my electrical engineering exams.
How did they go?
Yes, they went well.
That's good to hear. All right. So what's the next step? You did the IELTS, did you not, Baljeet?
Yes, sir. It was about 2 years ago, and the TRF has been expired.
So good correction. So you need to do it again. All right. Well, hey, you know what? Do it again. It'll. By the way, everybody, that's a good point that Baljeet just brought up. So IELTS validity, it's 2 years. So after 2 years, you have to do it again if you haven't used it by that time. So, all right, Baljeet. Well, good to have you back as always. And Baljeet, what was your score? Do you remember your score last time for 2 years ago for speaking?
Speaking, I think 6.5. Yeah, I think.
Okay. And how do you feel? Your speaking is better now, or it was better then?
I think now is more better because in the past I had less knowledge and experience with the speaking, but I think now I'm more confident and I have improved.
Good. Yeah. We always, I mean, that's the reality of it. Even if we fall out of practice, our brains are constantly improving until we get really old, but that's later on for us. So I think after 65, you don't need to take IELTS. Good news. If you wait until 65, you don't need IELTS anymore. Right?
Yes, obviously.
All right. So, okay, Baljeet, well, let me ask you a couple of questions here, okay? So let's talk about sweets and cakes.
Yeah, sure, sir.
In general, have people's consumption of sweets and cakes increased or decreased over the last few decades?
I think that's an interesting question. Please allow me to think about it in a second. Yes, I think I can say that from the past some years, the consumption of sugar has been decreasing because nowadays people are more health conscious. They are cutting down their intakes of sugar because of health issues are arising due to sugar intakes. Like couple of months back, I have been cutting my uh, sugar intakes, and I have also loosened uh, 3 pounds of weight, and now I'm looking more healthier and looking great.
Can you elaborate?
Hmm. Yes, because nowadays people have more knowledge about healthy eating, as well as they are more health conscious. So that is why I think they are lowering their sugar intake, because everyone knows that sugar is empty, nothing but empty calories that they are taking.
Too many sweets can cause health issues for too many sweets can cause health issues for people. Do you agree with this statement?
Yes, as I have previously said that sugar is empty calories, so it is just uh, go in our body, and uh, it is stored as fat. And as we know, as I know, that fat can cause damage, not damage. I can say that it is the major issue of obesity and overweight. So, overweight can lead to some major problems such as the cardiovascular illnesses, as well as some kind of psychological problem as well.
Okay, very good. Good. Baljeet, nicely done. So that would be about a band 7 to 7.5. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay, sir.
you're clearly speaking fluently, but you're not only speaking fluently, you are speaking well. So 7 is a good user of the English language. And it's both your structure, your style. So you're keeping your answers shorter. You definitely focused on, okay, don't over explain, don't over exemplify. I still felt like your examples went a little bit long. You can make it even more concise, eliminate a couple of mistakes. But that's about the right length. You had a couple of slight grammatical mistakes that affected your scores. I will show you what those are. So
Okay.
I think for you, Baljeet, right now, before you do your IELTS exam, definitely lots of practice, and make sure
Yes.
to analyze your speech. So constantly analyze your speech and get feedback to correct all those small grammar mistakes so that your speaking becomes clearer. Okay?
Yes. Yeah,
Right.
sure, sir.
Did you have a question? It sounded like you had a question there for me.
Yes, sir. Like I'm practicing at speaking for like 2 days. So that's why I think this is happening, because I haven't been doing speaking since almost 6 to 7 months.
Right. So you're rusty. You're out of practice. Yeah. Well, shake off that rust. And yeah, practice. Right. That's definitely the way to do it. Let me go over your answers because they were quite good. We just need to clean them up a little bit. So I said, in general, people's consumption of sweets and cakes increased or decreased over the last few decades. Now you started with right? And that was good. Okay, so yeah, you're buying a bit of time. You're thinking about how should I answer this question, positively, negatively. What am I going for here? So you said, I really like that you didn't say it depends. It depends answers are very awkward and confusing a lot of the time. So I like how you just kind of went with one side. You said, and then you bought some more time. You said, I think that's an interesting question. Now, you did make a bit of an awkward mistake there, so I corrected that. Okay, so I think that's an interesting question. Let me think about it for a second. Okay, so we'll practice that in a moment. I think the consumption of sugar has been has been decreasing, is what you said. Yeah, that was good.
Yes, sir.
And you said it correctly. I remember you said it correctly. So has been decreasing because people are more health conscious. That was a beautiful collocation. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So health conscious was a very nice piece of vocabulary, a very good collocation, and Grammarly is even telling me that I should hyphenate that word and join the word health and conscious with a hyphen. So I had no idea it's hyphenated, but there you go. So health conscious, and here it was a bit unclear, but let's clarify that. And people are aware that issues are arising due to sugar. And you kept saying intakes. Yeah, that S in the English language, right? It's so tough to know when to use it, when not to use it. Here, not
Yes.
to use it. It's just sugar intake as a general. It's a sugar intake. It's not a constant intake, okay?
Okay, sir.
And then you gave a good example. You realize, okay, I don't need to explain this more. I just need an example. So last month, I have been cutting my sugar intake. And here you said a little bit too much, simplify it, and I have lost 3 pounds. That's it.
Yes.
Okay.
I was like making it more complicated. Then I thought that, oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
should
not
have
needed.
stopped.
Exactly, right? You're like, I lost 3 pounds. I'm feeling strong. I'm looking good. I'm waking. I'm like, what am I? What? Wait. Yeah. So simple. Just I lost 3 pounds. That's it. If we lose 3
Yes.
pounds, we feel good. Everybody knows it. So that's fine. And then I said, can you elaborate? And that's tough, right? Because it's like, didn't I just elaborate?
Yes, it really was.
And that happens to people, and the examiner does that, right? So somebody's like, well, I just explained it. I gave you an example, and now you want me to elaborate even more? What are you talking about, right? So
Yes, that's where I was a bit confused.
just elaborate, talk more about it, right? So think back to the question, right? So we asked you, or I asked you about the changing amount of sugar. Now,
Yes.
did you use any quantification? So this is one trick that you can use to elaborate. Okay, you can think, oh, did I quantify? Do you remember? You know what quantify means?
Yes, sir. Like grams. In case of sugar, like we can say 20, 30 grams.
Exactly, right? And you didn't quantify. So you didn't give me any change in the sugar intake of people, right? So here, that's what you could have done. And that's kind of a little tip or trick. So I'll teach that to everybody. So a trick here with elaborate is if you didn't use quantification, you can use quantification, okay? So use
Yes, sir.
quantification. So here you can say, yes, because nowadays people have more knowledge of healthy eating. And then instead of repeating what you already said here, you can say people have more knowledge of healthy eating. So they know that their sugar intake should not exceed 20 grams per day. Okay. But 10 years ago, many people ate like 3 chocolate bars and 2 spoons of sugar with their coffee each day. Okay, so that quantification, you can do it a million different ways, but just that quantification, right? And that extra example. And suddenly now you've very clearly elaborated, right? Let's try that. So can you elaborate? Yes, because nowadays people have more knowledge of healthy eating. So they know that their sugar intake should not exceed 20 grams per day. But 10 years ago, many people ate like 3 chocolate bars and 2 spoons of sugar with their coffee each day. Can you elaborate, Baljeet?
Yes, because nowadays people have more knowledge of healthy eating, so they now they know that their sugar intake should not exceed 20 grams. As in past years, people ate like 3 chocolate bars as well as 2 spoons of sugar.
Yeah, and you forgot the each day part. You got to put that in, but that's okay. You're much closer now to the right type of answer. So that's good. And then later on you said, as I said previously, that was really good, by the way. So Baljeet, you're doing a good job. Remember this little tip or trick? You can always elaborate with numbers. You can always clarify further with numbers, okay?
Yeah, sure, sir.
And great to have you back in the regular classes. I hope to see you more. It's always a pleasure speaking with you.
Yes, sir. Next time I will talk to you. I would have more practiced, and let's see
See,
you
you're
in
already
next week.
correcting. You already corrected practices to practice, so good for you. Yeah, you're already improving. Okay, Baljeet, I'll keep my fingers crossed that you get a good score on your engineering exams, and then we'll see you in class. Make sure to join that Light Hall class. That's a really fun one. Okay, did you see that Light Hall class that I was? Here, let me show you that one. I started doing some live speaking classes on a new platform called Light Hall, and you can actually video chat with me on Light Hall as well.
Okay.
And it's a free class. We'll do 3 classes this month. The first one will be on the 13th. So that will be the first speaking class next week, and that's on Light Hall. I'm going to copy the link into the chat, and you can click it when you want, and then you can just say sign up, and you'll get a notification. Then you can see me there too. Okay?
Okay, sir. I'll definitely try that.
Yeah, it's really cool. Okay, Baljeet, we'll talk to you later. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Bye,
Okay.
Baljeet.
Bye, sir.
All right, that was Baljeet. Baljeet, really cool. Very good to have you back in the class. Let's take somebody else, okay? Omer Zan here, moving down the list, kind of jumping around a little bit. Okay, so Omer Zan, let's see if Omer Zan is still with us. Hang in there, students. So are you ready? All right, thanks for the thumbs up for Baljeet. I know that many members know Baljeet. Baljeet's been with us a while, so he's well known among the members. All right. Yeah, Divi, you can use incorrect quantity, sure.
Hello,
Hi, Omer Zan.
how are you doing?
How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. I'm doing well also. Thanks for asking. All right, Omer Zan, my guess would be Uzbekistan based on your name. Am I correct?
Can you repeat?
So, guessing by your name, your location, my best guess would be Uzbekistan.
No, I'm from Kazakhstan.
That would have been number 2. All right. Do you know the difference? So, like when you hear somebody's name, are you able to say like, oh, that person's from Kazakhstan versus Uzbekistan?
To be honest, the names of Kazakh and Uzbek people are similar,
Very
and
similar.
sometimes this is confusing.
Okay. So it was an honest mistake on my part. But all right. And how is your weekend so far in Kazakhstan?
Nothing special. I'm preparing to my IELTS exam
And why are you doing IELTS?
because the university which I want to enter requires IELTS exam.
And may I ask, which university is that?
This is the one university which requires IELTS exam in Kazakhstan, and name it's Nazarbayev University.
Nazarbayev University. Is that in Nur Sultan?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm starting to learn the different places and schools in the world. So, okay. All right. Let's do this. So I will ask you a couple of questions. Give me a nice full sentence answer for each one. Okay. This is a bit of a review now, but reviewing and repracticing is also very good. Have you been in the class since the beginning?
Nope, it is my first time.
Okay, all right. So this might be new for you then. So this is part 3 of the speaking. Give me nice full sentence answers, but don't overspeak. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about making food. How have food preparation practices improved over the decades?
Honestly, I think that last decades, especially the cooking of food and cooking of food is improved because technical improvements, Instagram, socials like Facebook, YouTube help to many people to improve their ability to cook, and I think that the quality of cooking is improved.
Do you feel that any of these changes have actually been for the worse?
I don't think so, because I didn't see any worse things to that, and I only saw advantages than disadvantages of it.
Okay, all right. Good. So your score right now, based on these two questions and answers, would be about a 5.5, maybe a 6, but I think more 5.5. Okay, so more in the
Yeah.
five category. What score do you need for your university?
Actually, university requires 6,
Okay.
but 6 in each section is 5.5.
Okay. In the speaking, you definitely want to aim high. So in the speaking, your goal should be at least a 6.5. Okay. And I think you can do it with some practice and with some changes. Now, the two big ones for you. Okay. So 2 big changes that will help you to reach your score faster. Okay. First of all, you have to use the advanced grammar of the question in part 3. Okay, so the one very noticeable mistake that you made in your answer is you were not using the present perfect when you should have been using the present perfect. Okay, are you familiar with the present perfect using the
Yeah.
auxiliary verb have? Yeah. Okay, you have to practice using it in your conversation as much as possible. One of the other students at the beginning of the class asked me, why do English speakers use present perfect? And I actually did write it down somewhere here for the person. There's 5 reasons that we use present perfect. We use it to emphasize experience, change over time, repetition over time, and 2 more. And here in this case, it's change over time, right? So I'm asking, how have food preparation practices improved? So it's present perfect because I'm asking about the change that has happened in the last 10, 20 years with food preparation. So you have to show the listener, show me that you recognize that this is change over time that we're talking about. So you have to use the present perfect. Using honestly is okay. I don't usually recommend it, but it's all right. So you said, honestly, I think that the last decades, the cooking of food is improved. Here, it definitely should have been has improved. Okay. So I think that in the last decades, cooking food, or the art of cooking food, cooking is a type of art form. Cooking has improved because of technical improvements. And then you said socials like IG, Facebook, and I think you said TikTok maybe, and TikTok. And then here again, present perfect because it's an achievement. So these social platforms achieved improvement, so have helped many people. Okay. Improve their ability to cook. And then you kept saying, I think that the quality of cooking is better now. Now, here again, an example. Have you made anything by looking at Instagram videos or Facebook? Have you used any of that information to make some kind of food?
No, I didn't interested into cooking.
Okay. How about anybody you know, like your mom, your sister, your brother, your dad? Have they used it to make something?
I think yes.
Okay. Can you tell me something maybe that your mom made using a social site?
My mom last week ago cooked pizza with the instruction from YouTube, and the pizza was delicious.
Nice. Okay, it's that kind of sentence that will definitely help you to pull that mark much closer to your needed score. Okay, so missing examples. That was my second point. You missed your examples and the grammar form of the question. You have to show that, okay? There's a reason why they're asking you with that grammar, okay? All right, here, let's try this. So I'm going to read this and then the response copy after me, okay? Here we go. And of course, this is for everybody. So when we do the repetition, everybody should do this. So how have food preparation practices improved over the decades? Honestly, I think that in the last decades, the art of cooking food has improved because of technical improvements. Socials like IG, Facebook, and TikTok have helped many people improve their ability to cook. I think that the quality of cooking is better now. My mom last week cooked pizza with the instructions from YouTube, and the pizza was delicious. How have food preparation practices improved over the decades?
Honestly, I think that in the last decades, the art of cooking food has improved because of technical improvements. Socials like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok have helped many people improve their ability to cook. I think that the quality of cooking is better now because my mom last week cooked pizza with the instruction from YouTube, and the pizza was delicious.
Awesome. That would definitely, said like that, would get you a band 8, 9, okay? So that's what you want to work on, all right? Grammar, lots and lots of grammar. So always record your speaking. Think about how can I improve my grammatical accuracy, my word choice accuracy, and then always make sure to include that example as well in the answers, okay?
Okay.
All right, Amarzan, I hope you have an awesome rest of your weekend in Kazakhstan. Thank you for chiming in.
Thank you too.
All right, bye for now. Okay, that was Amarzan working towards higher education, and that was great. Students, that's all the time. And Dwight, I know you're a new member, and I do see you there. I promise you come back in the Light Hall class, Dwight, on Wednesday, and then Thursday we'll have the YouTube speaking class, so come back there. I'll be looking for you. I respect new members and their support for the channel, so check us out on Light Hall. That will be the next class on Wednesday, and we can actually do video chat, which is good practice. Check out our new speaking video in the next couple days that we uploaded. So we have a new mock IELTS exam with lots of great strategies. It's got like 20,000 views in the last 24 hours. I just put that in the chat. It's a new release. And definitely, if you like these lessons, if you plan to be with us regularly, go to our websites, aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gltshelp.com for general IELTS. Sign up for the premium course. Use the workbook, the exams that we have there, because that's what we use in these live classes. Is we use our website. We use the books from the website. So sign up for the premium package. Again, you do that by clicking the red button that's there. Okay. Any of those big red buttons. So that one there. Thank you to all of the volunteers today. That was awesome. Really good. And thank you for sharing your language with me and with the rest of the viewers in the world. It's fantastic. Keep up the good practice. Practice is the key to success. Okay. All right, so hope to have you back with us next week for lots more practice. We've got reading, we've got writing, we've got speaking coming up in next week's classes. I will be here for sure. I hope you will be too. Keep up the good work, everyone. You're all beautiful, bright people. So push forward and keep your eyes on the prize. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria, Canada for now. Bye, everyone.